That's incredible.
I think we found your mysterious island.
Oh!
In this video, we done with the movie Journey to The Mysterious Island. We will discuss the storyline, summarize the plot, and explore the cast and character. Additionally, we will cover the movie production detail and box office performance. Finally, we will provide reviews and share personal reactions, so let's get started. The early 2010s may have seen Dwayne Johnson's one major franchise, but he failed to do the same with another one. Journey to the Center of the Earth in 2011. Johnson made his debut in the Fast and Furious movies in Fast 5, wherein he played Hobbs. Fast 5 was considered one of the best films of the franchise up until that point, and Johnson was hired for the series sequel to him, as well as the 2019 spin-off Fast and Furious present, Hobbs and Shaw. Fast 5 was also the highest grossing film in the franchise up until that point. Fast 5's gross was over double the highest gross of the previous highest grossing Fast and Furious film. The test changed rapidly after that. as it followed up Fast and Furious 6. Had an even higher gross with 88 million, peaking with the Furious 7 before the Fast and Furious franchise box office began to decline. In 2012, Dwayne Johnson played one of the lead characters in Journey 2. Mysterious Island, it was a sequel to the 2008 film Journey to the Center of the Earth, which starred Brendan as in that lead role. Journey to Mysterious Island was a box office success, making $335 million worldwide. Made on a $79 million budget. Journey 2 turned a decent profit at the box office. Its gross also passed that of the original 2008 film. In theory, Johnson could have launched another successful film franchise after Journey 2, but Journey to the Center of the Earth 3 never got off the ground. Journey 3, titled Journey 3 from the Earth to the Moon, was originally announced following the success of the Journey 2. Journey 3 was later cancelled. However, it is important to note that the reason for the film's cancellation seemed not financial, but rather related to a creative decision, as Journey 3 ended up being too difficult to write. Johnson did not manage to be revived or Journey to the Center of the Earth series. He did manage to be revived another franchise to great success. This was the adventure series Jumanji, a rebooted series of the 1995 Robin Williams film. Johnson starred in the Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle 2017. Unlike the film's franchise's film success, did kick off a new franchise. Jumanji's success further showcases the extent to which Dwayne Johnson's involvement has a way of reinvigorating franchises, even if the opportunity was wasted with a Journey to the Center of the Earth. While his success in big budget tentpole and franchise movies has been mixed, he seems to be excel in role where he allowed to be taken on an old franchise and make it his own, relying on his knack for balancing action and humor to put a new twist on an old IP. With so many upcoming projects on his plate, he is bound to find another franchise to bring a new generation soon. 12 years after his first lead role in a feature film, 2002 The Scorpion King, a spin-off his role in Steven's Sommer The Mummy returned. Dwayne Johnson started up for another action adventure lark in Journey 2. The Mysterious Island, a sequel 2008. Journey to the Center of the Earth and a far cry for the actor's more recent outing in Fast and Fast 5. Honing is a kid-friendly, brief fake appeal into solid comedic performances. Journey to the Mysterious Island is a nothing but fun. Floaty, family-friendly adventure ecosystem of the highest order. It's a perfect four-quadrant, a scabbed in which Dwayne Johnson continues to flex his trademark physicality and his sense of comedic timing. Josh reminds us all new underutilized and Hunger Game he was, and Vanessa Hudgens trying anything to break free of her high school musical recasting. I love the fun of a 3D VFX. No doubt designed to cash in unwilling summer cinema audiences desiring to escape reality. Director Brad Patton, who would go on to work with the Johnsons to more for both San Andreas and the Rampage, delivers the goods in terms of the spectacle and present, and demanding big screen fun. And the film's production design lends itself brilliantly to a mix of studio-bound set design, soundtracks, location shooting, and a boatload of green screen work that coalesces into the kind of me film we wish the Ward Indiana Jones movie had been. The film plays fast and loose with a comedy at the expense of trying to envelop the audiences in the 3D experiences. For the purpose of this review, it was screened in standard 2D, and at time, you kinda just need to be struck and let your silliness wash over, expecting a film in which is unmelia, both small, enormous, and ultimately never before seen to engage with any kind of realism, is a way to object disappointment. But I just wish Spartan and his team and spent less time with the Baiho 3D aspect of the production and concentrated on crafting a solid film first, instead of a second. It's a minor quibble, but a relentless pursuit of GMK 3D shot where artists welcome first, leaving behind a preponderance of the questionable timing wasting for the sake of a marketing tool. In terms of pure entertainment, Journey 2 hits its marks early and maintains the momentum through pacey editing. Winking lead performances, particularly from Bo Johnson and Hutcherson, who have a better grasp on the kind of semi-serious tone needed to make this material work, and well used, and highly commendable computer graphic visual effect. I mean, this is not Avatar level graphic, but I have seen for worse on bigger budget film with more discerning artists to date that. Arguably, the most fun thing about the Journey 2 is the accompanying musical score by composer Andrew Lockington. It's the kind of score I define using the phrase rollicking, a pleasant mix of the blasting brass and obstructive ingredient going the best of John Williams. And while I would be struggling to hum a melody afterward, the film's crash and bass action sequences are only enhanced by the work of the Lockington in this. Little Wonder Python and the Lockington worked again several times. Also on Rampage, Incarnate and the San Andreas. The film does have a very bright sense of cinematography, however, of a color-board pastel and vibe, a visual theme park ride material. This is not too much a criticism, as it is an observation drawn from the fact that the cinematographer David Tetchell, a legitimate industry heavyweight, with the likes of the Green Mile, the Star Wars prequel trilogy. The day the earth stood still and Adam Wingard that note to his name gives Journey to such a plastic feeling, Walmart flavored looking movie. And it is so dispiriting the film feels like a 90s video game, at least visually, with a significant effort being made to ensure not a single pixel or frame of the film is wrapped in any kind of darkness. And they kinda wanted it to mix things up a bit, show us some light and shade, texture the visual a little. Instead, everything looks to have been shot in a warehouse lit by the sun. Look, if you are after an undemanding, dramatically predictable, and directed adventures beyond you could all go to, far worse than this. Journey 2 is fast paced and designed with good time in mind, without really asking the viewer to think too hard. Johnson's is solid, and the Hughes make a cute second couple, and Michael Caine does his best Michael Canning. Verne was a fantastic non-parallel but his 19th century imagination would surely have parked at the notion of berries pinging wilted after rocks pass as they do in this kind friendly accusation from the Canadian director Brad Python. The new line and the country film presentation. Boeing in Australia January 19 before a global roll out at reaches. North America on February 10 can expect to at least equal to $50 million box office, drawn by 2008 Journey. Most teen ideal status is said to be hit critical mass with his upcoming role in The Hunger Game. Return as intrepid young explorer Sean Anderson. In Journey, he was accompanied by his uncle played by Brendan Fraser. But this time round, a clearly self-aware Johnson, as his Navy-fed stepfather Hank is a responsible adult on board. Sean is now a rebellious 17 years old and skeptical of the new father figures chosen by his mom. The requisite male pawning ensures when Sean intercepts a coded distress signal which lead a pair to an. At one point in a full 17 disaster movie The Swarm, reacting to the news that busy insect have managed to don two military helicopters. Michael Caine turns Slammy toward a co-star and shooters the immortal word. I never dreamed it would turn into be the beast. They have always been our friend. It seems certain that this would be the widest be best scene. Kenny would never have to be performed. But now, along comes Journey 2, boasting an aerial chase in which the night director yes rides a grand version of his ancient views. Happily, unlike the Swarm, this available adventure is on a joke. Directed by Brad Barton, the man behind Cats and Dogs. The Revenge of Kitty Keller, and so clearly Hollywood's go to guy for very silly sequel. Journey 2 gleefully piles on the impulsibility so we get a comedy double act between Kenny and Divine Derrick Johnson as effectively Pizarra matchup as Annie and Davido. We see them they antagonistically call each other Mary Poppins and he squashes a campfire, sing along, recapping the movie's plot to the tune of what a wonderful word. It's no one's definition of great cinema, but when a scene that starts with the Johnsons offering courting advice to his stepson into everyone bouncing berries of his desk, it's off now to be smile. Irritable by the own message plot stuff in less fun. The one holdover from Journey to the Center of the Yard. Brandon Fraser's character barely gets a mention, but it's implied he is a build on his nephew. Remains a very unengaging screen presence, having to constantly stuck at Johnson, one of the world's most engaging star, and a various character arc will the heroic boy and hot girl hook up. So don't expect Avatar. There are giant Izzard, rather a mild adventure that makes no sense at all but is eccentric enough to win through one charm. Not every big budget fantasy, after all, sees the hero, bar his fist and threaten to be unleashed on tender cookie. Animated movies have always been a constant source of entertainment for both children and adults alike, going far strand to strand over the past decade or two, in no small part due to Pixar. Thanks to the incredibly high bar set by them, other studios have raised their game. Live action movies aimed at younger generation have fared less well over the year, proving to be hugely predictable in terms of quality, with adventure stories even more so. Just look at the awful Will Ferrell version of Land of the Lost, or even the predecessor to Journey 2, the forgettable Journey to the Center of the Earth, which starred Brendan Eraser back in 2008. In most cases, humor takes center stage, with a total of lack of wit or anything approaching igniting sadly absent. Thankfully, then Journey 2 is an absolute blast, proving that one man backs and a united British legend on the back of a giant insect really can be making of an entire film. The plot is brutally efficient, as Journey 2 races through its 90 minutes runtime at speed. It starts with a motorbike chase, as a naughty teenage from the actor Josh appears returning as Sean Anderson, only character captain from the original, as far as I can remember, is on the run from the police. Within minutes, we have established that Sean, suffering from being a near intolerable teenager with a stepfather Hank, in the last shape of the Dwayne, the rogue Johnson, who Sean resent from being nice to him, who would not want the rogue as a furthermore, Sean is hell bent on finding his missing the grandfather. Soon a bonding adventure is underway between the estranged pair. After a quick bite of map puzzling and writing solving, as they seek out a mysterious island, picking up a Looney Tunes pilot, and his teen hormone lightning daughter, who has little to do aside from delivering some very clunky dialogue and providing a little love interest. So far, so predictable and in truth. The film continues along a well-worn route. Che Guzman's character is Gabby, who fills the role of comedic idiot. In this case, bordering on total mental deficiency. He is there to be nothing more than make noises and panic, to amuse younger children. At first, the overacting seemed to do out of control. Yet, as the films progress and his adoration of Hank becomes slightly more homoerotic, I found myself clunking along, in a small part. I am sure because they would almost certainly act the same way, in the presence of the rock. I found myself laughing throughout the entire movie, especially during the surreal sight of the star Michael Caine atop a giant bee, or consistently facing off against a might of Johnson's. In fact, despite Caine's clear desire to pay for an extension to his house, he does seem to have fun with the role, and more surprisingly has a proper part for the duration of the movie. I was perfectly prepared for a brief cameo at the end. Dwayne Johnson has always kept one hand in the kids' movie jar, regardless of how many times it's been shot on his finger. Yet I admire his tenacity and ability to walk from the extreme glorious violence of doom straight into the super surgery world of Hannah Montana. Don't get me wrong, I was the first person to rejoice when his involvement in both Fast and Fast 5 were announced. And if I had my way, he would be confirmed only to be action movie. Yet maybe there's a little selfish. Surely every generation deserves some of the rock in their life. I am almost certain that there is a mathematical equation for how much better he makes a movie. Just by appearing, he even proved a bright spot in the otherwise wonky Hogan. The man just radiated his charisma with an uncanny ease and charm, which make him a much more suitable fit for both adult action movie and children's entertainment. Unlike some of the predecessors, what's more, his comic timing simply shine in Journey 2. For anyone like me who mostly want to see the film of a Johnson's completive, there are some truly great moments. Have you ever wondered what parental advices from The Rock about relationship would be like? Want to know more? As a historical site of cherry bouncing, back flaxes in full 3D reveal all. Ever wanted to see the big man play an enclave while singing? In fact, stay from the end credits you and you will get even more of him singing. Although the backing of a big band. It's a sound to be glorious. I may have to be take a pregnancy test in the morning. Even the 3D was an unexpected delight, providing plenty of theme park style moment to be affected. Scene might prove a little too intense for the very young, as giants ill, spiders and his lizard all makes any appearances. Despite the old scare, kids should have it, with adults having plenty of surreal moment of inspired Lancy to keep them amused. And Journey 2. Against what you might be expecting. It turned out to be a visually rich and thoroughly entertaining ride. Dwayne Johnson's 2012 family adventure film, Journey to the Mysterious Island, is making a climb up the Netflix's viewership chart. Years after critics initially dismissed the film, while it might seem surprising at first. The come up makes complete sense as the film became available to stream on Netflix just about a week ago. Netflix is programming more paired Journey 2 with the 2008 original, which also re-entered the US top 10 this week and currently stands at number 7. That film led by Fraser and produced during the early wave of 3D cinema. Grossed to $44 million globally on a $60 million budget. The simultaneously availability of both titles delivers a two-film being for viewer, and the two cousins installment are bridged by the Josh character. The data shows Journey 2 outperforming its predecessors on the chart, which likely reflects Johnson's enduring streaming pull, compared to Razor's more niche but restoring the popularity posed by Will. The Brad Patton directed sequel to be Journey to the Center of the Earth brings back the Hutcherson while replacing the Brenton eraser with Johnson's, and despite a lukewarm 44% critic score on Rotten Tomato upon releases. The film is credited for outgrossing its predecessor at the box office. It had pulled in a $35 million worldwide against a $79 million budget. On Netflix and Howard the timing is strategic, and Johnson's is one of the platform's most bankable names. Not to forget Eddie brought his very signature comedic vibe to the franchise that is streaming again value him for. Journey to the Center of the Earth and Journey to the Mysterious Island are both available to stream on Netflix and are currently trending. While foreign theatrical circuit experiences are listeners' weekend overall. As a strong France opener was set by the generous holdover number in Russia and China proposed Journey to the Mysterious Island to know status for the second consecutive weekend. Overall weekend take off the Warner Bros. New line, Whiten Media Family Adventure, outsteering. That was a very promising beginning considering only two of the top 10 international market released this past weekend. As per Fox, our romantic comedy's costing race. Opening softly in Chan market was Warner's extremely loud and incredibly close, which drew $12.6 million from 909 screen. The Best Pictures Oscar contender premiered number 1, 5 in Japan, $1.2 million from 309 screen, but number 12 in the UK. Number 3 was Fox's issue in 3D of 1999 Star Wars Episode 1. The Phantom Menace, which grossed $7.4 million on the weekend, and for 30 venues in 62 territories, lifting the offshore count to be $376 million. Fourth was Fox's release of The Descendants starring George Clooney, boosted by the half-term school holiday business in the UK. Disney's The Muppet scored $5.4 million on the weekend on its 539 spot, warranting a number 2 market ranking. Market cum over 10 days come to be $10.7 million. Overall, the live-action animations family comedy grossed on the weekend $7.6 million from 42 territories, including the UK, lifting his overseas gross total to $59 million. It looked the weekend number 5 spot. Paramount's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol starring Tom Cruise propelled its foreign gross total to $46 million, thanks to $7.4 million weekend. Sony's release of the WoW, which placed second in the US and Canada, held the number 1 spot in New Zealand and yielded $7 million on the weekend. Overall, at a $158 million foreign cum for the romantic comedy, outstanding. This second installment of the franchise might have a modest 44% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it early has not stopped it from trending over a decade after its release. In addition to the semi-sequel, the first installment of the franchise journey to the center of the earth, which also became available on Netflix on the same day, and stars Brendan Fraser in the lead role, is also trending. Johnson's flick has cracked the national top 10 and as of August 9, it has reached 3 on the US movie released on Netflix. That's not all. Journey to the Mysterious Island also moved the needle in the UK chart on August 6. Specifically, it however seemed now to have picked up any momentum in the UK since then. Netflix's programming move paired Journey to with a Resonate original, which also re-entered the US top 10s this week and currently stands at 7. That film led by Fraser and produced during the early wave of 3D cinema, grossed $44 million globally on a $60 million budget. The Brad Pitt directed sequel to Be Journey to the Center of the Earth brings back a while replaying Brendan Eraser's with the Johnsons, and despite a lukewarm 44% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes upon release, the film is credited for the outgrossing its predecessors at the box office. It had put Journey to $35 million worldwide, against a $79 million budget. On Netflix's end, however, the timing is strategic, and Johnson is one of the platform's most bankable. Not to forget that he brought his very signature comedic vibe to the franchise that is streaming giant value him for. Journey to the Center of the Earth and Journey to the Mysterious Island are both available to stream on Netflix and are currently trending to stay tuned to be later for more updates. Perhaps one of the things it takes what's best about Journey to the Mysterious Island that it gives you. Sort of a non-sequel's great start. The concept of the film is introduced quickly and simply by going swimmingly and then seen sees longitude and attitude coordinate. There are also perhaps so many attempts to make certain plot element with possible with lengthy explanation. The elements are well thought out by dialogue, is somewhat clumsy and dedicated. To address only other bugaboo. Quickly, there is also the unnecessary complication of God in this film also. A bit like the latest Gem movie, is such an antiquated and childish cinematic move, and hard to be swallowed in a life or death situation. Journey to the Center of the Earth was a precursor to the 3D replacement and was good and took advantage of the technology. The film may not be up to their standard, partially based on the other production decision, but it good and the utilized CD that's word of up story for sure. The cast of the film is quite good and keeps our strong light and fun and makes up for any indication the film may have. Is clearly the lead, while he's always been a great talent. There he really shows he's already a movie star by carrying up action while some heavy hitter. That being said, Dwayne Johnson does well here. With his usual good delivery of humor and liner are also work with well. The movie keeps the laugh consistent, which keeps the tone fitting. With every installment, it means that the film will earn new fans or pieces, old ones in an equal measure. The CG on screen is better than TV, and trailers can really give you a sense of and action sequences are pretty good. They work especially well with a good 3D. Dwayne Johnson's 2012 film's adventure film Journey to the Mysterious Island is making us climb up the Netflix's viewership years after it is initially dismissed often. While it might seem a surprise at first, the come up makes complete sense how the film became available to stream on Netflix just about a week ago. Dwayne Johnson's jungle movies have come to be define his career, but there is one entry in this signature that is unfairly overlooked. Johnson's rose to fame as one of the most popular professional wrestlers of all time, and he successfully translated his in-ring charm to the movie world, becoming one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Johnson has solidified his movie star status with big prayer choices like in Fast and Furious movie, as well as crowd-pleasing comedies. Fans will get a chance to see another side of him with the upcoming sport drama. The Smashing Machine, however, it may be Johnson's many jungle that really made his career in a cinema. Top certainly now the most popular of Dwayne Johnson's jungle movie. Journey to the Mysterious Island is an underrated adventure that deserves a second look. The film is a sequel to the Journey to the Center of the Earth, with both movies based on novel by the legendary sci-fi author Jules Verne. Journey to finds your Sam Anderson joining his stepfather Hank on an adventure to an isolated island filled with such strange creatures, along with being one of Johnson's first jungle movie. It also helped establish his trend of coming into established franchise and stealing the show. As with Fast and Furious, The Mummy, the CG duel. Johnson will still find his place in Hollywood, but his performances have established it. He is likable and funny in a lead role while also making for the ideal action hero. Journey 2 have established a tone for the other Jungle movie that Johnsons would work on, offering genuine thrills as well as family friendly humor, making it accessible. Among Johnson's Jungle movies, Journey 2 scored a lowest critical score with 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was a solid box office success. It seems smaller scale compared to his later movie. However, Journey 2 deserves more credit for helping to establish a formula that Johnson's return to become anytime and with great success. It may seem like a rather narrow subgrade genre, but even Johnson's managed to appear in a surprising number. It was the Jumanji movies that really have to make this a noticeable trend in Johnson's career. With Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle and Jumanji, the next level becoming huge hit. By the time he teamed with Emily Blunt for Disney's Jungle Cruises, it was hard to now to be noticed how many of these films Johnson was making. Journey to the Mysterious Island is the second installment in the Journey film franchise, which features an all-star cast including the Vanessa, where 2008's Journey into the Center of the Earth was inspired by Jules Verne's classic sci-fi novel of the same name. Journey to embarrasses a different Verne novel, The Mysterious Island, as its primary sources material and focuses more on comedy. Unlike the first film's underground exploration theme, Journey to explored his erosion to an energetic island, introducing new characters and challenges. It makes her an exciting standalone adventure while maintaining a connection to the franchise's adventures spirit. This shift is an narrative focus brings a fresh perspective to the franchise, offering a new adventure that combines elements of mystery, fantasy, and action. The sequel stands out for his unique blend of magical creatures, hidden treasure, and the uncharted territories, providing a visually stunning and thrilling experience. For 2012's journey to the mysterious island not only explores new thematic terrain, but also features a star-studded fast cast that adds a depth and charisma to its fantastical world. Giovanni the Rock Johnson plays Hank Person in Journey 2. The mysterious island Hank is seen Anderson, stepfather, a former Navy codebreaker who reluctantly joins the adventure. Typical of Utter Johnson's performances, his characters brings a blend of humor, physical prowess, and emotional depth to the film. Hank's relationship with his son evolves throughout the movie, adding a layer of family dynamic to the adventure storyline. His expertise in navigation and survival skill prove crucial in the challenges they face in the island. Dwayne Johnson's career transition from a professional wrestler to a Hollywood superstar in legendary. Known for his charismatic screen presence and action-packed performances, Johnson has starred in major blockbusters like the Fast and Furious franchise as a like Hope, San Andreas as Raymond, as Jumanji in Spencer. His role showcases his physical restraint and comedic talent, making him one of the most entertaining stars in the industry. Journey to the Mysterious Island marked an interesting point in Johnson's career, as it was right on the cusp of him becoming a bankable actor who brings in a billion at the box office. Josh Hutcherson is a bridge between the first movie and Journey to My Mysterious Island, as he reprises his role as C.N. Anderson. Josh became a household name with his role as Peter Melrock in the Hunger Games series, a part that captured him to be international fame. His portrayal of the composition and successful Peter garnered critical acclaim and a massive fan following before the Hunger Games, and already established himself as a talented young actor with role in other adventure films, such as Jesse in Bridge to Be and Vulture in Zatura, a space adventure in 2023. Legendary actor Michael Caine plays Alexander Anderson, Sean's adventures grandfather in a journey to the mysterious island. Alexander Vernian, followers of the Jules Verne's work, is the reason behind the expedition to the mysterious island. His character is eccentric, full of wisdom, and embodies the spirit of the exploration. Michael Caine's illustration career spans several decades, with iconic roles such as Charlie and the classic British crime capital Italian Job, the titular character in the 60s drama Alfie, and Alfredi Pennyworth in a Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. His remarkable Vernal's versatility and distinctive Cockney accent have made him one of the most respected and beloved directors in cinema. Lois Gessman portrays Gabato, the comical and kind-hearted helicopter pilot who helped the group reach the mysterious island. Typical of Guzman's visual role, his character adds a humorous and relatable touch to the film, often providing comic relief amidst the thrilling action. However, Gab shows concern for his daughter, Kailani, and his willingness to embark on the dangerous journey for her sake, adds emotional depth in this role. Louis Guzman is known for his character role, often playing likable, down-to-earth characters in both film and television. The actor has two notable great working relationships in Hollywood. As a close friend of the Adams planter, Guzman has featured alongside a comedian in anger management Sandy Mixer. The do-over. Another actor is also close to be celebrated filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson, with appearances in A Boogie Night. Loved in television's Guzman gained acclaim for his portrayal. Vanessa Hudgens plays Kailani, Gabato's determined and gorgeous daughter, who joins the quest to find the mysterious island. Her character is also strong-willed, resourceful, and serves as a romantic interest for Sun. Kailani's adventurous spirit and bravery make her a key member of the expedition team, and Hutcherson's performances brings a sense of determination and charm to the role. Rosie famed with her role as a Montes in the high school musical series. Kristen Davis portrays Liz Anderson's persona, Sean's caring and concerned mother, who reluctantly allows him to be searched for his grandfather in Journey 2. The mysterious island, her characters, while not central to the island adventure, plays a crucial role in the emotional backdrop of the story, representing the family ties and concern back home. Disney's Jungle Cruise opened to a surprisingly successful domestic box office weekend, bringing in $34 million, but how does it stand up to be Rock? Other franchises haul. The new film stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as skipper Frank Wolf. Jungle Cruise is Disney's new adaptation of one of his popular themes, park rides like Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion, with a new film taking from the adventure role ride of the same name, with Pirates of the Caribbean, showing down in a popularity after the controversy over Captain Jack Sparrow Johnny Depp. Disney desperately needs a new historical adventure franchise to take over the reign. Jungle Cruise is already providing to be a hit with theaters and streaming, so Disney may have just found its new Pirate of the Caribbean theme. The Rock's film's career has spanned over 20 years, going from a well-known professional wrestler to one of the most valuable actors in Hollywood. Dawes began in a supporting role in a franchise, an action movie before moving into a lead role in drama and comedies, eventually helming his own blockbuster franchise, the latest of which being Jungle Cruise. In reflecting on the franchise success of the Black Rock's career, it's worth taking a look at how Jungle Cruise spanned up to be clear box office earnings. Although Fast and Furious was a booming franchise since its debut film in 2001, The Rock painting the cast have bring in more audiences with his contribution in Fast 5. The Rock was introduced as DCS's agent Leo Hope, originally tasked with tracking down and apprehending John Tartakovsky from Jamon. The Rock has portrayed Hope in the next four Fast and Furious movie, including his own spin-off Hope and Shaw. did not return for 2001 F9. Fast 5 The Rock's first entry brought in $109.6 million in its open weekend, keeping up with the Fast 5 momentum. Fast and Furious 6 earned us $97 million opening box office and so much of the Furious 70's success is due to the films being Paul Walker's last feature after tragically passing away before its release. It ended up becoming one of the highest grossing films of all time, racking up an incredible $147 million in its opening weekend. The franchise's next film, The Fate and the Furious, still had a Rock and a Vin Diesel at its helm to gross $98 million at the box office opening weekend. Also not a disappointment by any means for the Rock spin-off, Hobbs and its short box office opening earned only $60 million. Fast and Furious is a two-decade money-making franchise that make it difficult to compare to the Jungle Cruise, a family-friendly Disney franchise just standing up on its feet. Since the last performing film in The Rock's contribution to Fast and Furious was Snob and Show, with a $60 million opening weekend. Jungle Cruise bringing in a little more than half their number in the middle of a pandemic still holds well. If Jungle Cruise momentum picks up in a subsequent year, with the pandemic subsided, it may not be reached Fast and Furious speed, but could still perform the competitively. As the Rock's first franchise is almost completely held by his own stardom, Jumanji performed extremely well in the box office. The film series takes from 1995's film of the same name, this time modernizing in it a video game context with more action and adventure. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle earned $36 million opening weekend, which is one on par with Jungle Cruise's $34 million sequel. The Next Level outperformed of its predecessor with a $59 million opening considering a Jungle Cruise also performed well on streaming, bringing in another $30 million in its opening weekend. Its performing to so far parallel Jumanji. In a Rock's debut film role, he joined a Mummy, one of the most successful adventure franchises of all time. For its first sequel, considering the Jungle Cruise is heavily inspired by the Mummy. It's no surprise the Rock appeared in two of the latter films. The Mummy Returns ended up bringing up in $68 million in its opening box office weekend, outperforming the original film. The Rock then starred as a lady Scorpion King, a prequel to Be Mummy about his eponymous character, which only earned $36 million opening weekend. Again taking over in a Brendan Fraser-led franchise. The Rock joined the journey into the center of the art movies in the second installment. Another action-adventure series, The Rock Hound, which brought in $27 million from its box office opening. Jungle Cruise already performing higher than the 2012 established franchise film means it will likely have a longer future than the Journey film. With Snake Eyes reviving the City Joy film franchise, is an the film earned $40 million in its opening box office weekend, much higher than Snake Eyes at $30 million. Art the latter being released during a pandemic. Whether you enjoy the 3D adventures journey to the center of the art or not, the fact that it made over $40 million worldwide pretty much guaranteed that a sequel is coming. We reported last week that a sequel is slated to hit theater in fall 2011, and we assumed star Brenton Fraser was returning. However, according to Deadline, even Journey to the Center of the Art 2 is still on the way. It might not star Fraser. The film will soon move straight into the pre-introduction with a deal for director Brad Byron already in place. There is a chance Fraser and return, but apparently it's not looking likely. If that's the case, Josh, who played Fraser's nephew in the first film, will likely end up the lead in the sequel. I guess that's as logical as a way as any to continue the story if the star of the first film is not going to be returned. The reason Fraser may not make another Journey to the Art score is because he felt strongly about making the first one. specifically with director Eric Brain. However, the studio wants the film in theater next December, and Breathing is busy with the upcoming Yogi Bear movie. Even if Fraser's project he can still bring in a cash when he returned for the Mummy Tree. His last film, Furry Fury Vegans, bombed at the box office. The real question is whether or not Fraser's presence made a first journey successful. I will be curious to see how much the sequel would make it Erasers did not return. The film is being shot in 3D again and will likely still feature all the action of the first movie and moral. So people may go see it anyway. Fraser's or no Eraser. Would you be interested in a sequel to Journey to the Center of the Earth if Fraser's was not in it? Were you a fan of the first one? Journey to the Mysterious Island picks up a few years after Journey to the Center of the Earth. This time around, no one term of the original has decided to come back, except for Josh, who plays the lead character of Cian in both the film. This time around, Cian is determined to track down his grandfather's Alexander, who has vanished several years ago, to the mysterious island. With the help of Hank, various books that form a map that tell them how to get to his island. It's only a matter of time before Hank and Cian venture to this island to track down Alexander and share a new adventure together. When he first saw the trailers for Journey 21, I actually was not that disappointed with the idea. I found it to be entertaining. However, without Brendan Fraser's involved, I did wonder why they even labeled the film as a sequel. This films could large simply just have been called a mysterious island, and they could have eliminated us unnecessarily. Links back the original which were embedded in the film. That was nothing right off the bat. That frustrated me a lot was the constant references to the original, while there was nothing that directly linked to the film other than Sian, who could have easily been renamed since George always plays in a 3 days type of film. As the movie along, I found myself becoming less and less interested. The opening sequences of the bicycle chase scene felt like something arrived directly out of the 80s movie, and the entire idea. A troubled teen who is mad at his editor for remaining so glitched and uninspired even for a filmy film. His little one nature on silly scenes just become annoying. You can tell the filmmakers clearly wrote him in the film to be a jokester. But he quickly became irritating as well, and what made it worse was it felt as if the filmmakers could get Jack Black to play the role, so they settled for Guzman. Besides seeing Daddy Guzman's character was just written in for simple comic relief. It is clear to me that Huggins has no written into the film for two reasons. The first is to be play the love interest, and the second is to he If Candy for all the teen boys who may want to see him film. Huggins will always looking beautiful on screen. There's nothing to add to film at all. The relationship between her character, Kailani and Cian just her really forced and did not come off as natural at all. This film was one of the first films that is seen in well that I clearly felt during the second Secret Vision. That someone said, okay, good, but we need a love, interest, and we need someone to act like a fool. There are certain things most films use as need, but this one clearly felt as if the characters were inserted because they added nothing to the film. To end my rant on the performances, I have to point out that Michael Caine is part of this film playing a character that I thought he would have played in 1980s before he actually started getting really strong part. He was not bad in the film. However, the constant childish bickering back and forth between film and Joanne Josephs made me roll my eyes several different times. I also have to be said that Dwayne Johnson is usually likable because he has a good on-screen persona. It's too bad that these films did not ask him to be charming, but I did just smile almost every time he was on screen. It was almost like he was constantly being photographed. I wanted to smile for the camera. I need to mention is the fact that the story felt uninspired and did not really flow well. I already complained about how the films did not need to be referenced back to the original because it did not matter, but there are few other issues as well. The reason Sian and Hank went to this island was a trash because it felt too simplistic. But what made it worse was a film just jumped around when they get there. In its short learning term, there are interaction with the elephant, dinosaurs, a giant beast, a giant electric eel, and a trip to be Atlantis. The movie also really used so many special effects that at least to me looked extremely cheap and unrealistic. The film seemed to bank on the CGI to sell the movie, as well as a 3D effect. I also did not like the fact that the film used so many slow motion effects repeatedly. It's like the filmmakers said, you know what, would you make the scene cooler? If it was slowed down a bit, and it would have been fine. It is some done once. The problem, however, is that the film did it repeatedly. During every single moment, where something involving special effect happened from the being flight scene to the underwater scene. In conclusion, I was extremely let down by Journey to the Mysterious Island. I feel that I was harder on the film than a lot of others this year because I actually saw some sort of potential in this film from the trailer. I usually love family adventure film and found the first one to be rather enjoyable. This one just felt uninspired and unnecessary. I spent the entire movie searching for positive things to say about the film, but really just left the theater saying to myself, at least Vanessa Hutcherson was nice to look at. I hate being that guy and saying stuff like that, but I just did not feel like anything else worked in the film. I thought Michael's scan was fun, but a constant childish banter that Dwayne Johnson's made me angry. The way the film's and leading to be sequel was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me because it's like the what else can these people do and why would they do it? It just felt worse like the majority film. I really can't recommend the film. I would say if you want to watch it, wait for read the books or catch it in cable. When considering whether or not you want to be watch Journey 2, the only questions you have to be ask yourself is do I desperately need to see the rock play unclear and Bones Perry's of the policeman in 3D? As far as I can tell, those who seen are the only reason for the film's existence. The best is a hodgepodge of half-baked sci-fi ideas. Cartoony CGI spectacle and sickly sweet family sentiment that should have even the most forgiving children on a sugar high rolling their eyes in a disbelief. The whole thing smacks out inspiration with the filmmakers struggling to such a forgettable blockbuster. Intro franchise and a cast of recognizable actors barely trying to conceal the fact that they signed up for a well-paid tropical vacation that just happened to be involve a film shoot. It feels more like a soft-up documentary with a sequel than a marquee studio release. Now Journey to the Center of the Art was never a great movie, but at least it lured some breezy entertainment with a few newfangled tourists still in its fantasy. When that flick came out, it played more like a 90-minute theme park attraction than a movie, showing off the fancy pop out of the screen technology with an seemingly endless series of such pieces that never got bogged down with concern like telling a story or crafting memorable character. It was not a great, but it was a good showcase for 3D when it was still a novelty. And that's all the movie had to be. But it's sequel time now, and with audiences already trying out 3D. That is not enough to carry a movie anymore. Now 3D flicks have to be work on their own merits now and started a vlog in charge somehow Jade dreamed up an even less compelling story this time. The movie opens Dohon, teen protagonist fun from the last movie, escaping from cops on a jet like clutching a stolen broadcast. that he is hopes for grandfather. You see, CN is a Varian, a special breed of people convinced that everything. Jules Verne wrote about the fact. Given his last adventure, he has good reasons to feel that why in unconvinced his grandfather is stuck on Verne's mysterious island. Shamefully, he is got a new stepfather played by the rock whose Navy training gave him the necessary skill to decode a message and kick some mythical creature ass. They had after be coordinate, they were sent and meet up with a Lois Guzman and teen love interest Vanessa Cujan as a father-daughter team who take them via Rickety helicopter. Shockingly, they end up trapped on the island with Sien's grandpappy. Michael Gainey as their guide give a series of CJ set pieces involving volcanoes of gold, riding giant beasts, learning lessons about reconnecting with a parent, and for some reasons finding the neutrals from the stunted leakage under the sea. Right off the bat, the 3D in this movie is very lackluster. While Journey 1 featured scene with the characters fighting into the camera every few minutes to take advantage of the new dimension in Journey 2, it almost feels like an afterthought. Sure, there are plenty of perfectionary action scenes, but I never really liked the advantage of 3D, which kind of seemed like the whole point of this franchise. The giant lizards and tiny elephant that populated the island are kind of fun, but honestly, the trailer gives away every expensive sequences, so you can't even count of getting some sort of minor joy or surprises there. The cast is good in theory, they just have nothing to work with him. The Rock knows to be charm and beat things up, but he grasping it raw with a boring, caring stepfather character. He does get to play the ugly star, which is wired as hell to see. But it might be best to wait until the inevitable and numerous YouTube videos that will arise from the scene to be captured. Around 10 episodes, Brad felt like a jelly movie clown, while and the Hutcherson are stuck with a dry, pretty tennis archetype with little to no personality. That is Michael Caine. You might be asking yourself, what the shit is Michael Caine doing in Journey 2? Well, he claims it's for his grandkid, but his movie was shot in Hawaii, and I'm sure that Gainey had a nice, relaxing time because he certainly was not burdened with much acting to worry about. So, as you probably worked by know Journey 2, The Mysterious Island is a bad movie. There I recall nothing enough here you have not seen done better. Before and even Dwayne Johnson has a healthy list of movies on his resume that are better than his, and yes, that include a Tooth Fairy. To be fair, the most movie for children, and I suppose that if you are talking along a youngster who hasn't seen many adventure movies or is not exhausted with 3D, the little I could have a good time. The kid would probably have a better time with it his family chase, like the Goonies, but would not get him out of his house. So I can sympathize. Just bring along a follow pillow for yourself. You are going to need it. Journey to the Mysterious Island marked the second Brandon Fraser franchise that Dwayne Johnson started to take over via the Scorpion King. But this time the Rock was much more successful as it looked like he is permanently supplanted Fraser, whose character I don't think was even mentioned in the sequel, as the adult male lead in the Journey series. I would not blame Fraser's of jumping ship because I actually saw Journey to the center of the earth. Heavy admissions thanks to my cures, and it was one of the worst 30 ammunition I have ever sat through, including my bloody Valentine 3D, Shark Night 3D, and Piranha 3D, if not for the sum of the three magnates of Yogi Bear. The first journey would still hold my personal title for a 3D movie of all time, a dishonor if I had reigned for almost half a decade. The trailer for Journey 2 could have been included better highlight, more on that later, but after my experiences with the original, I definitely wasn't going to pay for this one either, despite Vomisa Kyujin. The Mysterious Island ended up being an in Beefner while movie helping. I can see how much greater entertainment Journey 2 can be for family, which explains its surprising success at a box office, and I probably would have enjoyed this a couple decades ago. The integrations of different classic novels into the plot is neat, and the 3D is actually quite impressive, especially when combined with a slow-mo. The trailer simply did not do it justice, but that could be a good thing in an era when most previous spoiled the vessel part. Imaginative sets and the distant action sequences throughout a various exotic backdrop of the mysterious island. I want to be a true adventure that will thrill children and maybe younger dream. I can only imagine what a 3D version of update of Jurassic Park King Kong or Honey. I Shrunk the Kids would be alike, which is basically what this movie is, except much closer to PG land than PG-13 territory, so ultimately everything works somehow. Ever so conventionally, magically, or arbitrarily. Josh, the only connection to this original journey beside that very word in the board title. He has had a long career as a child actor, and he said to be breakthrough in The Hunger. Michael Kenny, enjoy your payback. I hope you saved your strength of your most anticipated movie in after 2012. Lewis Guzman's up there purely for Tommy Grief, but he's not always funny, probably because the inclusions of every single little comment of keys to be everything that's happened result in an overall overtone. Vanessa Hudgens. Damn, I don't want to be sound like a pedophile, but damn. I mean, she's a nut giant tank, top entire time. And it is a slow-mo shot of her during a storm. So she is a wet. In 3D, Simon, just that is better than her blonde in Sucker Punch. Also, I didn't have to be too much journey to. The mysterious island shows that Dwayne Johnson may be able to be taken genre beyond strictly action. It's probably The Rocky's best family, but it's a not much competition in a category. Raised to Wish Mountain, the Tooth Fairy. That one was so creepy that I dumped like the Wikipedia. Less equals straight to be video. And only Larry the Cable Guy accepted. The gig as for future journey. There is no stringer. After the credits of the mysterious island, but I expect the sequel. If you need to be babysit, come kids, Journey 2. The Mysterious Island will do. Journey 2. The Mysterious Island gets 2.5 out of a 5 star or C+. The trailer of Journey 2 could have included battery highlight. More on that later. But after my experiences with the original, I definitely was not going to pay for this one either, despite the Vanessa Hudgens. I can see how much great entertainment Journey 2 can be for families, which explains surprising success at a box office, and I probably would have enjoyed as a couple decade ago. The integration of different classic novel in the plot in this minute, and the 3D is actually quite impressive, especially when combined into the slow-mo. The trailer simply did not do it justice, but it could be a good thing in an era when most previous spelled the best part. Imaginative assets and decent action sequences throughout various exotic backdrop of the mystical island. I want you a few adventure that will thrill children and maybe younger teen. So I can only imagine what a 3D version or update of Jurassic. But this movie is accept much closer to PG Island than PG-13 territory. So ultimately everything works out somehow, ever so conveniently, magically, or elaborately. Hollywood produces lots of bad movies, but it's a particular type of bad movie it does that makes me positively uncomfortable. That would be the children's fantasy action film in which everybody on screen stands around and either smile to be broadly or delivers same lame gifts through stand seriously. It's like a living version of a laugh track. Everything here is so highly entertaining. The film seems to be saying, why aren't you having fun? It's so painfully artificial that I have a hard time watching the screen. It's a way of promoting an innocent version of real life to young people who are not old enough to know its total markedly. These were the thought bouncing and around my brain for most of the 90s something minute that constitute journey to the mysterious island. It's probably silly to be expected anything from this film. Sure, we all love Jan. The Rock Johnson sure. Michael Caine can be assured with the aggressively mercenary of the wild endeavor is numbing or insulting. But why do people creep with the vegans? In my travel, I neglected to see the first journey. That one. Journey to the center of the earth had Brendan Fraser in it. But it is not better if the two films are linked together by young adventure scene, who is team up with our stepfather. He can't stand to find an uncharted island that's been discovered by his Indiana Jones. Like grandfather's scene, love interest. To tag along to and soon the gang is being chased by big lizards and beasts and the electric eel. Journey 2 was directed by Brad Byron, who previously brought a under unwanted sequel. Cats and Dogs are revenue of Kitty Claw. Like Journey 2 that was also in 3D. If Byron's not careful, he's going to wholly corner the market on fitfully dull kids action movie. This one has a little more excitement than Kitty Gaylor. But like too many action flicks scared to younger people, it walks this wide between simplistic emotional manipulation and adult scarness. Why too many creators jump at a camera for shock value. From moment to be moment, I wasn't sure what Artist's journey to was going after. Although it might seem scare hope that some voice on the cusp of puberty will adopt the rock's advice to be seen about popping your pecs to be impressed a girl. And it will help get you over notion skills in shape. And since the film is not sufficiently fun or exciting or clever enough to be sustained interest, my mind wanted all of the plays gauge the effect in this thing why pretty substandard. Wow, when he saw Huygens, people must be thrilled that she walked around his way movie wearing a long tank top. Man was so good. And the kids are all right and such a waste in this time. Why does Johnson have such a low opinion of his talent that he goes to these sort of throwaway film? And when is this ching over so can I go home? The mysterious island looks like nothing so much as one of those live-action adventures that Disney used to grant out in the 1950s and hey, here's Captain Nemo's Nejo's to prove it. Also a tree house to be humble Swiss family, Robinson, which contains a short-wave radio that has been assembled from old spawn. I think I heard the movie is very loosely a sequel to the journey to the center of the art, with only two connection is inspired by a Jules Verne novel, and it goes as young Josh as a hero scene. The film opened with him on a motorcycle and being chased by a cop. But not to worry. All he did was break into a satellite tracking session to boost the power on a message for help sent by his grandfather from a lost island in the Pacific. Cian, whose father in the first film, has disappeared from the cast anyway. Now has to be deal with a Hank, Agadi Brock. Hank is his new stepdad. Josh and Hank make friendly by decrypting the grandfather's message. Hank glances at it in Jude. That the two labels word stand for dot, and one's label word stand for dashes, which means the grandpa has had enough free time on his remote island. Figure out a way to make Morse code several times, longer than it previously was, and answer is why grandfather would encrypt a call for help. This Hank was a swell guy. He purposes that the two of them fly up to the Pacific and find grandpa. On arrival somewhere, they hire a tourist helicopter pilot named Gabato. Gabato has a daughter named Kailani, a Polynesian beauty who wears a tank top and a Desi Ryok throughout her film. These four fly off in the helicopter, are trapped in a Force 5 hurricane that drives the two of pieces and are lucky enough to find themselves alive on the beach of the mysterious island. This is your complete island. It has an active volcano, waterfalls with no apparent water sources streaming down, elephant the size of dog, and giant lizards that are nowhere big enough to be accounted for the size of their egg. Also on the island is the loss of city Atlantis, even is the wrong auction. And we saw big scene and the Kailani going about right on the back of one. And Alexander Anderson, Sian's grandfather played by the Michael Caine, who will not be editing this role into his video about how to act in movie. I hope you understand and enjoyed most of the stuff. The director Brad Patton apparently intended it as a genial parody of countless other movies. In this spirit, there is, for example, a scene where Sian, Grandpa Kailani and Gabato all sit around the old campfire and listen while Hank Serum sing. What a wonderful word. And I mean he sings it. Every word of these verses. It's not every day you see the rock channeling Gan Outre. Sian Jandice's dad Warner's novel contain everything there need to be known. And this comes in a handy when the volcano exploded and the island began to sink into the sea. Sure enough, Captain Nemo's submarine is still hidden underwater. Hank and Sian, trusting Warren, drive off a high cliff, and while holding their breath and swimming underwater, are able to find the sub, open the hatch by dragging and twisting it, swim inside, push a lever to fill it with air, and get to be power generator working by jump. This is a goofy, it is not a good movie in the usual terms, but it is jolly and good natured. And Michael Caine and Dwayne Johnson are among the most likable of actors. Johnson is such a good sport. He even shows young Sian how to be impressive girl by flexing your princess so quickly that net ricochet of them. I can't think of any reason to pay extra for 3 days. Journey to the Mysterious Island picks up a few years after Journey to the Center of the Earth. This time around, no one from the original has decided to come back, except for Josh, who plays a lead character. I've seen in both the films. This time around, Sian is determined to track down his grandfather Alexander, who has vanished several years ago to the mysterious island. With the help of Hank, Sian learned that if you ripped out 3 pegs from various books that day from a map. When I first saw the trailer of our journey to, I actually was not that disappointed with the idea. I found it to be entertaining, however, without Brenton Fraser involved. I did wonder why they labeled the film as a sequel. This film could have simply just have been called A Mysterious Island, and it could have eliminated the necessary links back to the original which were embedded in the film. That was one thing right off the bat that frustrated me a lot was the constant reference to the original. But there was nothing that directly linked to the film other than Sian, who could have easily been named since Josh always plays in a 3D stuff film. As the movie moved along, I found myself becoming less and less interested. The opening sequences of the bicycle chase scene felt like something ripped directly out of an 80s movie. An entire idea for the troubled teen who is marrying so cliched and inspired even for a family film. The movie after its introduction gets a bit more interesting until Gasman entered and became the plucky comic relief. He is later one-liner and silly Siam just become annoying. You can tell the filmmakers clearly wrote him in the film to this jokester. Besides seeing that the Ghostman's character was just written in a simple comic relief, it is clearly me that Huggins was also written into film for 2 reasons. The first is to play the love interest, and the second is to be eye candy. For all the 10 teen boys who may want to see this film, Huggins will always looking beautiful on screen. There's nothing to add a film at all. The relationship between her characters, Kailani and Sian, just felt really forced and did not come off as nature at all. This film was one of the first films that I see in a while that I clearly felt during the second script revision that someone said, okay, good, but we need a love interest and we need someone to act like a fool. There are certain things most films are use and need. But this one clearly felt as with the character very interested because there is nothing to the film. To end my rant on the performances, I have to point out that Michael Caine is about half the film playing a character that you thought he would have played in the 1980s before he actually started getting really strong part. He was not bad in the film, however the constant childish bickering back and forth between him and Dwayne Johnson made me roll my eyes several different times. I also have to say that Dwayne Johnson is usually likable because he has a good on-screen persona. It's too bad that films did not ask him to be charming, but rather just smile almost every time he was on screen. It was almost like he was constantly being photographed and wanted to smile for the camera. I need to mention is the fact that the story felt inspired and did not really flow well. I already complained about how the films did not need to be references back to the original because it did not matter budget or a few other issues as well. The reason Sean and Hank want to be this silent was a stretch because of it felt to be simplistic. But what made it worse was the film just jumped around when they got to there. In a short running time, there are interaction with elephant, dinosaur, giant beast, a giant electrical eel. The movie also really used too many special effects that at least to me looked extremely cheap and unrealistic. The film seemed to be bank on a CGI to sell the movie as well as the 3D effect. I also did not like the fact that the film used so many slow motion effects repeatedly. It's like the filmmaker said, you know what, would you make the scene cooler if it was slowed down a bit? And it would have been a fine if it was done once. The problem, however, is the film did it repeatedly during every single moment, where something involving special effect happened from the spy fight scene to the underwater scene. In conclusion, I was extremely let down by Journey to the Mysterious Island. I feel that I was ordered to be filmed that a lot of others this year because I actually saw some sort of potential in this film from the trailer. I usually love family adventure film and found the first one to be rather enjoyable. This one just felt uninspired and unnecessarily. I spent the entire movie searching for positive things to say about the film, but really just left the theater saying to myself, at least Vanessa Hudgens was nice to look at. I hate being their guide and saying stuff like that, but it just did not feel like anything else worked in this film. I thought Michael's Stein was fun, but a constant childish banter with Dwayne Johnson just made me angry. The way the film ends leading into a sequel was like the straw that broke the camel back for me because it's like, what else can be people do and why would they do it? Brandon Fraser is out and a surprise Dwayne Johnson is in. Still January 2, The Mysterious Island, Officer Little, from the original as Johnson's bearer. We do a book-themed adventure that has them running for their life. As I sat here, witnessing this near prepared spectacle, I could not help but garner a strong feeling of deja. At first I assumed it had something to do with Johnson's working his kid-friendly persona to steal another hit. But then I realized this is literally the same story as a journey to the center of the earth. For what is Journey to is a decent film that catered to the very young. The Seabound Adventure features as a film few interesting scenes, notably those involving Alyssa and Eric, but mostly fast orders would work hard to be sheer, any and grown-up material. I am not saying that the film was soft, but it's rated PG for a reason. Louis Guzman has an unfortunate task at delivering some truly embarrassing joke, and Vanessa Hudgens turning his heart to come across are by told as he constantly speaks of her longing to attend college. The romance in the film is overly pushed out. Two young lead with weird chemistry. This is bonus feature are not too impressive as a gag reel. A deleted scene feature and an interactive map leave you with a scene of unfulfillment. The cast is surprisingly strong, but then again family films stand to be going to a listener to infamous. Still even with our dear sport, Journey to generic family adventure, sadly. That is probably enough to be certain its target market. I owe this hobby career to the one and only Stepfather, Patterman who, while returning at Fox, told me that I had too many opinions and irrelevant information to keep it all bottled up inside. I survived my first rated R film, alive at ripe age of 8. It took me months to grasp the fact that Julia Roberts actually died at the end of Steel Magnolias, and I might to be the only person alive who actually enjoyed Sorcerer Rome. For its comedic value, of course. While my friends can drink you under the table, I can outrush you when it comes iconic. Yet holiday films like Adventure in Babysitting, that true bravery hill. I have no shame when it comes to what I like, and you have a problem with that. Then we settle it on the request ball. I see too many movies to actually win any film trivia contest. So don't waste your first pick on me. My friends sent movies from my bookcase shelf, and one day I do plan to start charging. I long to live in a LA, where my movie obsession will actually help me fit in. But for now, I am content with my home in SDN. Journey to the Mysterious Island in the second installment in the Journey film franchise, which features an all-star cast including Vanessa. While 2008's Journey to the Center of the Earth was inspired by the Jules classic sci-fi novel of the same name. Journey to embarrasses a different version novel, The Mysterious Island, as its primarily source material, and focuses more on comedy. Unlike the film's underground exploration theme, Journey to expand its horizon to an enigmatic island, introducing new characters and challenges. It makes for an exciting standalone adventure while maintaining a connection to the franchise's advent spirit. These shifts in this narrative's focus bring a fresh perspective to the franchise, offering a new adventure that combines elements of mystery, fantasy, and action. The sequel stands out for its unique blend of mythical creatures, hidden treasures, and uncharted territories, providing a visually stunning and thrilling experiences. However, 2012's Journey to the Mysterious Island not only explored new thematic terrain but also features a star-studded cast that adds depth and charisma to its fantastical world. The film's ensemble compromises both as a seasoned actor and rising star including Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in an interesting transitional phase of his career. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays Hank Person in Journey to the Mysterious Island. Hank is a Ian Anderson's stepfather, a former Navy code breaker who reluctantly joined the adventure. Typical of other Johnson's of performances, his character brings a blend of humor, physical proof, and emotional depth to the film. Hank's relationship with Ian evolved throughout the movie, adding a layer of family dynamic to the adventure storyline. His expertise in the navigation and survival skill proves crucial in the challenges they face on the island. Dwayne Johnson's career transition from a professional wrestler to a Hollywood superstar is legendary. Known for his charismatic screen presence and action-packed performances, Johnson has starred in a major blockbuster like the Fast and Furious franchise as Luke Hope, San Andreas as Raymond, and Jumanji as Spencer. His roles showcase his physical strength and comedic talent, making him one of the most entertaining stars in the industry. Journey to the Mysterious Island marked an interesting point in Johnson's career, as it was right on the cusp of him becoming a bankable actor who brings in a billion at the box office. Josh Hutcherson is a bridge between the first movie and Journey to the Mysterious Island as he reprises his role as Ian Anderson, the intrepid young explorer from the 2008 film. Ian embarks on another extraordinary adventure, this time to find his missing grandfather on a mythical, mysterious island. His character's bravery, intelligence, and curiosity drive to the plot as he navigates through the island wonder and danger. Ian's development from the first film is evident, showcasing a more mature and confident explorer. yet retaining the youthful enthusiasm that defined his character. Josh became a household name with his role as Peter Malloch in the Hunger Games series, a part that catapulted him to be international fame. His portrayal of this compassionate and resourceful Peter garnered critical acclaim and a massive fan following. Before the Hunger Games, had already established himself as a talented young actor who would role in other adventure films, such as Jesse in Bridge Story, Drive and Vulture in A Space Adventure. In 2023, he starred in the PG-13 sleeper hit horror movie Five Nights at Fridays as Mike Smith. Legendary actor Michael Caine plays Alexander Anderson's son, Adventure's grandfather in Journey to The Mysterious Island. Alexander are Vernian followers of Jules. In the reasons behind the expedition to the mysterious island, his character is eccentric, full of wisdom and emotions like the spirit of the exploration. Candy's portrayal brings a scene of the gravity and charm to the film, serving as a mentor figure to the younger character while engaging the adventure with youthful vigor. Michael Caine's illustration career spans several decades, with iconic roles such as Charlie in the classic British crime caper The Italian Job, the titular character in the 60s drama Alpha, and Alfred Pennyworth in a Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. His remarkable versatility and distinctive Cockney accent have made him one of the most respected and beloved actors in cinema. Caine's ability to adapt to various genres, from drama to comedy, has earned him numerous awards, including an Academy Award. His latest film, 2023 The Great Escaper, marks the last film of career after Caine announced his retirement. Guzman portrays Gabato, the comical and kind-hearted helicopter pilot who helps the group reach the mysterious island. Typical Guzman's usual role, his character adds a humorous and relatable touch to film, often providing a comic relief amidst the thrilling action. However, concern for his daughter, Kailani, and his willingness to embark on the dangerous journey for her sake, adds emotional depth to his role. Louis Guzman is known for his character role, often playing likable, Sandy Wexler over another. The actor is also close to the celebrated filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson with the appearances in Boogie Night, Magnolia and The Punch Drunk Love. In television, Guzman gained acclaim for his portrayal of James Adams on the Wednesday. Vanessa Hudgens plays Kailani, Gabato's determined and gorgeous daughter, who joins the quest to find a mysterious island. Her character is strong-willed, resourceful, and serves as a romantic interest for Sean. Kailani's adventures, spirit, and bravery make her a key member of the expedition team, and Hughes's performances bring a scene of determination and charm to the role. Hughes rose to be famed with her role as Gabrielle. Kirsten Davis portrays Liz Anderson's persona, Sean's caring and concerned mother, who reluctantly allows him to be searched for his grandfather in Journey to The Mysterious Island. Her character, while not central to the island's adventure, plays a crucial role in the emotional backdrop of the story, representing the family ties and concern back home. Davis is best known for her role as Charlotte York in Sex and the City, which earned her widespread recognition. She notably returned to the role of the Charlotte in the Max revival series and Lost Black Dad. For 2 seasons with the Lost Black Dad Season 3 in development. The Rock's upcoming projects include Fast and Furious 7 and some as yet unspecified DC superhero. We are pretty sure we know what it is, but he also got it covered in the family-friendly movie department. No, that does not mean another Toad Fairy movie, starring Dwayne Johnson. It does apparently mean we will be getting 2 new installments in the Journey series. which added Johnson's story mix in the funny titled second installment. Journey to the Mysterious Island. New Line and Evolution have had Johnson's attached to the Journey 3 for some 2 years now. But this is the first we have heard of Journey 4. Also being in the work, THR says the plan, schedule permitting is a short, the third and fourth Journey movie installment back to back. With Josh reprising as Johnson's son-in-law, screenwriting, brothers Ted and Gary Pye. Harry reportedly said to be work as opening script for both adventure film. The highs are fresh off a co-written Johnson's upcoming 3D disaster action film San Andreas, which was also directed by the Journey to Hell's man, Brad Patton. He is expected to be returned to the cult as George on Journey 3. Patton was also once linked up to be directed a Lobo movie, starring Johnson before that project was canned. Rumor has it that Journey 3 may involve a trip into outer space. It's probably safe to assume that such a storyline will be a tad more light-hearted than something like Gravity. If Journeys 3 and 4, Journey to grossed just over $335 million worldwide in theater against a $79 million budget, and was mostly successful in achieving its goal, offering a wholesome adventure story and colorful pop, outweigh the effect for young ones. While Johnson and his adult posters provided some writer banter for older folk. So yeah, his franchise has not exactly had of lofty ambition to date, and he presumably won't change with the next two installment. As well as being decent pop art for the whole family to enjoy their next to be his journey out to get the job done. New Line and Evolution have had Johnson's attached to Journey 3 for some 2 years now. But this is the first we have heard of Journey 4. Also being in the works, the HR says the plan, schedule permitting it so be short and third and fourth Journey movie installment back to back. The heads are fresh off co-origin. Johnson's upcoming 3D disaster action film San Andreas, which was also directed by Journey to Hell man Brad Barton. He is expected to be returned to call the short of Journey 3. Barton was also once lined up to direct a Lobo movie starring Johnson. Before that project was canned. While the Hayes are currently working on the Steel Team 666 adaptations of supernatural action flick. Envisioned as a Johnson's vehicle, that is to say. This photo hires Johnson and Barton. Rumor has it that Journey 3 may involve a trip into the outer space. It's probably safe to assume that such a storyline will be a tad more light-hearted than something like Gravity. If Journey 3 and 4 are going to be filmed back to back, then its Flash Festival former will end on a cliffhanger that set up the fourth installment. It could also be that New Line and Evolution would prefer to shoot these movies together for cost efficiency, since they will be filmed largely on sound stages with a green screen backdrop. Journey 2 grossed just over $335 million worldwide in theater against $79 million budget and was mostly successful in achieving this goal, offering a wholesome adventure story and colorful pop or 3D effects. Producers Hiram explained why there has not been a sequel for the Van Johnson's film Journey 2. The Mysterious Island Journey 2, which came to be theater on February 10, 2012, was a sequel to be Journey to the Center of the Earth, a loose adaptation of the 1864 Jules Verne science fiction novel of the same name. It follows Sean Hutcherson and his uncle Trevor, realizing that his father was a Vernier, a scientist who believed that the work would rule the secretly true. 4 years later, sequel Journey to is another loose adaptation of a Verne novel. This time 1875, The Mysterious Island. Replacing the Brendan Fraser role is a Sean's stepfather, Hank played by Dwayne Johnson, along with Vanessa Hudgens and Lewis Guzman. They explore an island populated by the creature and find that they have shown to be incredible size.